boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School, parents and grandparents, teachers of Buddhist Sunday School and Dharma classes, and youth members, and all those who are watching this presentation. May you all be well, happy, peaceful, and healthy. Now we are going to have a presentation of a story titled The Three Pots, a story with morals. The text of the presentation are in English and Malay, but the narration with explanation is in English. At the end of the story, we are going to discuss some very important moral lessons which can help you to lead a more peaceful life. Now, as usual, we are going to have this PowerPoint. I will go over the story and slide by slide, you can reflect and understand. Now, let us now launch the PowerPoint from the beginning. Now you see the cover slide. Let me take off the video. And here you can see that the story concerns three pots. And of course, this is a story. And in the story, you have all sorts of things where the pots can talk, right? And then some interaction between pots and people, right? It's just like Aesop's fables and other legends. But the important thing is the moral lessons we can learn from the story, right? It has very good moral lessons. So let us now go on to slide number 2. Once there lived a pot maker named Murari in a village called Mahadeva. He made new pots and sold them in the market. With his earnings, he could manage to raise his family. He had 3 older pots for the family use in his home. Now, one day, the 3 pots were talking to each other. Now, let us look closer at this story. So you know what a pot maker is. So using clay, and then, they would make those pots that can be used for cooking, for containing water, can use as flower vases, and so on. So that was his livelihood. Right? He would make new pots from the raw materials, and then he would bring these new pots to the market to sell. And then with the earnings, he could support the family. The picture shows the family consisting of the wife and the daughter, I think, right? So very, very peaceful way of living. And he was using 3 older pots, which means that these pots were made quite some time ago. So now the family use these 3 pots maybe to contain water, right? Or to put in certain things, to store certain things. You can have various uses, right? So one day, these 3 pots inside the maybe a storeroom or at the back of the house or whatever, so they were talking to each other. Now, what did the first pot say? Now, you can see from the picture, this is the first pot, right? First pot, second pot, third pot. That's how we would call them, all right? So the first pot said to his friends, "Friends, we have been friends like this for a very long time." Very, very nice partner. Now let's go on to slide number 3. You see, I wish from my whole heart I wish for what? I wish from my whole heart for we three to live together like this forever. So it was a simple, contented pot and valuing the good friendship of the other two. I wish the same, my dear friends. That was what the second pot said. This shows the second pot. First pot, second pot. So the second pot also wished for the same thing, to live together with the friends forever, But then the third pot was not an happy pot. He was grumpy. But I don't wish to live here anymore, the third pot said unhappily. How long should we stay here in a poor family like this? I wish someone rich would take me away from here. Wow, very grumpy, huh? Not happy staying in that simple place. Or maybe just, pot maker, not a wealthy businessman or some wealthy people of the big town or things like that. So he said that he wished that some rich person would come and take me away from here. So he did not like the place. He did not talk about friendship also. So that is this slide number 3. Now let us go on to slide number 4. This shows slide number 4. So the 3 pots inside the house were talking to each other, right? Nobody really heard what they were talking about. So during this time when they were talking to each other, a rich man arrived at the pot maker's home. You could see the first picture of that rich man, maybe from the city, coming to this pot maker's home, wanting to buy actually a pot, isn't it? So what did the rich man say? Listen, pot maker, I want one nice, good pot. Of course, being rich, maybe some arrogance also lah. Whereas the pot maker was a simple man. Then what did the pot maker say? See, sir, I don't have good pots or bad pots. All the pots are good, the pot maker said. Very, very smart reply, isn't it? Right? So all that I make are good pots, he was trying to tell them. He was very kind, says, whichever you want, you can take it, sir, please. I don't mind, the pot maker told the rich man. He said, make your pick. You can see from the picture, so many pots are freshly made, and you can actually see the raw material, certain types of clay, maybe from the river banks or nearby area, other material. I mean, if you have visited, like I think a place not far from Kampung Gajah, we used to bring the Sunday school students, right, to also visit the place where pots were being made, pot maker making, and then some would buy. Then, of course, after that, actually, they would decorate with very nice patterns. But here, probably they use for either cooking or containing. So the pot maker did not have all those, tools or, the materials in order to make beautiful patterns. But modern day, you find beautiful pots, right? So this was just a simple, this was simple pots. So that was what the pot maker told the rich man. Right? The rich man actually wanted to buy a pot. No, now let us go on to slide number 5. I don't want a new pot, but I want an old one, the rich man declared. Old one? The pot maker was puzzled. But sir, I have all new pots, except the 3 old pots which I'm already using. So this rich man make a request to buy an old pot, not a new one. You probably, as you has later on, he also would say later on in the story that in his mind, he was thinking that old pots have better quality lah. As you know, nowadays goods if you compare some of the new goods that are being sold they don't last so long, all right. Olden days like even houses, wow, they be very careful and check and so on better materials all used lah. Nowadays a lot of people use cheaper stuff to make the houses, and you find that just hardly 3-4 years there will be leakages and so on lah. So maybe he had that sort of the idea lah. And of course, the pot maker was surprised because people will come to buy new pots, but this fellow wanted an old pot. So the pot maker told him that all the pots he made were actually quite new pots, right? Not a few years or things like that already. But he said, anyway, just to let you know that I have 3 old pots that the family had been using, and they are inside the house. But the rich man was very firm with his words. He was quite adamant. Say, whatever it is, I want an old pot. I want to purchase an old pot. That's what he said. Right? So that was slide number 5. Now let us go on to slide number 6 now. Right? We go on to slide number 6. So, of course, you are the seller, so you would treat all your customers very well and polite. You don't argue or reason it, right? You try to make your customer happy lah. So Murari had no choice but to show the rich man the 3 pots in his house. In other words, he brought the rich man into his house to the place where the 3 pots were stored lah. You could see the picture there, right? So the rich man, and then Murari, the simple pot maker, and the 3 pots. Pot number 1, pot number 2, pot number 3. So he had a look at these 3, and then what happened? The rich man chose the 3rd pot. You could see the second picture. I put a red arrow to show that the 3rd pot was chosen. You remember in the start of the story, the 3rd pot was grumbling, saying that he was not happy staying in this poor house. He wished that a rich person would come and take him away, whereas the other 2 were very contented and happy. So now that's what happened. So of course this is a story lah, right? So the pots could hear human beings talking also story ni. Upon hearing the rich man's choice, the 3rd pot said to the other 2 pots, maybe in their pot language, so the people, human beings could not hear lah, or maybe they were whispering or whatever lah, right? So what did the 3rd pot tell the 2 friends? Look, my wish is fulfilled. I'm going with a rich man. Yeah. This 3rd pot knew that the customer was a rich man, probably from the way he dressed and so on. Quite smart to detect that the person is a rich person. Wow, saying this, the 3rd pot felt very happy. Finally, his dream had come true, that he would be living for a rich man's house. So there was this slide number 6. So now let us go on to slide number 7. This is slide number 7. So the rich man took out the money. So the rich man paid money to Murari for the pot. You could see the first picture, handing over some money and then taking the 3rd pot. And he, of course, proceeded to take the pot home. During that time, they did not have these cars or vans and so on. Probably he had a horse carriage or things like that. Lah. But anyway, or maybe he walked, his house was a few kilometers, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, he took the pot, not very heavy. So, wow, the third pot felt very excited and happy to be at the rich man's home, right? So that you could see when the rich man reached his home, he placed the pot maybe, in the veranda, right? Or a very nice place in the rich man's home, And you can see in the second picture, the third pot now at his new home. Wow, very proud, Now, what happened? Very interesting. So days went by at the rich man's home. The story did not say how many days went by. Maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, all right? One day, when the owner was filling the water in the pot, he noticed the pot had broken from the top part. Right? Now, well, very likely he was using this pot just as a water container, and then from there he could use a cup or a smaller container to take the water, either maybe it could be to water the other plants or for other uses, right? So after some days, then he noticed, now from the top part of the pot, right, he could see broken parts, right? Very terrible cracks. You can see in the next picture, I think. So the top part became broken. This can happen, isn't it? Right? Everything that arises must break down. All right. We are born, grow up, and we will age also, isn't it? And he was an old pot, remember? Right? Maybe a few years old already. So it could give way, you see. That's the nature of things. Just like you buy a car, then after 10 years, you think you will still be the same as when it was new. You would have a rust setting in, certain parts broken. Oh, that is the nature of things, isn't it? Now let us go on to slide number 8. So you could see already here, you could see the top part of the pot was broken already. In other words, age factor, and then a climate and so many factors, but this definitely is aging already. And others is very old already. So, in fact, it did not drop. Of course, if you drop a clay pot, an earthen pot, it could break. But that was the thing that happened. You could see very clearly. So that time he was trying to fill the pot. So, the rich man cried, right? Cry doesn't mean he weep. Cry means he sort of said very either angrily or upset, with emotions. He said, oh, the rich man cried, I bought this old pot thinking it would be stronger compared to the new pots. But look at this. The pot is broken now. It is of no use to me now. I should throw it away. He's a rich man, He couldn't tolerate a broken pot like this, no. It will spoil the look of his house, probably. So he decided, throw it away already, no use already. Broken top part already. So the rich man took the broken pot away from his house. Now he went towards the countryside. Maybe not very far away, probably. So anyway, he took it away from his house because it was broken at the top part, as you could see the picture. And then what did he do? He just threw it away at the roadside. You could see the second picture, right? The pot was thrown at the roadside only. So the rich man, then went back home. Wow, the pot, the broken pot, remember? I told you it's a pot number 3, right? It was the third pot. So the pot felt so sad. Oh no. The pot cried sadly. This time really probably the pot was crying, right? The pot cried sadly. What should I do now? The rich man has left me abandoned. That means just like nobody's child like that. Just put at the roadside, will be subjected to the rain and the hot sun, and eventually will break up completely. So it was very, very sad. In a way, probably was regretting also. Last time he had a home, right, and with the friends, but now, because of wanting more things, couldn't be contented. We'll look at the life lessons later on. So that was what this third pot, or now a broken pot, you can say, right, was thinking to himself, feeling very, very sad. So let's see the fate of, not to say the fate, what is to happen now to the third pot? Did he just remain there until he completely broke and we could say that died? So this story is quite interesting. Now let us go on to slide number 9. Now, so this slide, this pot was thinking to himself and regretting also lah. You know what he was thinking? He said, I was happy with my friends, but now I have no one to be called as my friend. Nobody around already. His 2 friends were still staying at the potter's home, isn't it? Right? And then now the new owner, the rich man, did not want him already, so he was isolated and alone. It's terrible. He felt so lonely and scared probably. And just then, an old man was passing by. A poor old man. He was poor, right? You could see that his clothes are very shabby, not like the rich man with very expensive clothes. So he saw the pot, and then he lifted it up. You could see the second picture, he already, because he had the intention to bring it home. Nobody wanted already. As you can see today also, very many poor people will go around to rubbish dumps and salvage or to take all those things. Some would collect for recycling. Some would be for their own use. Poor people now today still doing that, isn't it? You're so lucky, you buy new ones, isn't it? So the poor old man took the pot home. He walked out to the place. So while the old man was walking towards his home, the pot thought in his mind, that was what he was thinking. Where would the old man be taking me to? A broken pot like me. So he was wondering, because he didn't know what would happen to him. The old man taking it, could it be to throw into the river or to, put into a big rubbish dump area? So he was really worried in a way. So he was wondering. So the third picture shows actually the third pot, now a broken pot, thinking. Thinking. So now let us go on to slide number 10 now. Right, slide number 10. When the old man reached his home, so he placed his pot, the broken pot, maybe in the kitchen area, on the simple, on top of the simple desk or a platform or whatever, and he filled the pot with water. So in other words, he was using it as a water container. Remember, I said that the pot was broken at the top part only, right? More than half of the pot still could be used for containing water, isn't it? You cannot, of course, you could not fill it to the top because you fill it to the top, it will leak out, isn't it? So you fill it maybe halfway only. I fill it halfway. And then, what did the old man use the pot for? Use as a water container. And then with his cup, he could take the water out from this broken pot and then drink, right? And then drink, isn't it? That was what he used the broken pot for? Then is the story, as I say, that a pot or animals in stories can talk to a human being. So the pot asked the old man, "Sir, I'm broken and I don't look good. Why did you bring me home? You could have bought a new one for yourself." So it was curious, right? Broken already, you look ugly according to him. So why bring me home? The old man explained, "I can't afford to buy a new pot. Even though you are broken at the top, you are serving me so well, satisfying my thirst." So you see, somebody, poor man, this poor man could even put the broken pot into good use, into good use. So the old man explained to the broken pot right, that he was still very useful, right? He could store water until maybe more than half slightly, and then he could drink from the pot. So he said satisfied, he was very happy, you see. So that was the answer. So now you see all these pictures, just try to depict, let you have in your mind a picture because when you read storybooks, you need in those days when we had all these books, most of the books all words only, no illustrations. Because if you buy illustrated books, colored one will be very expensive. So, but now I just put in some pictures to help you to visualize. Now, let us go on to slide number 11. Then the old man continued. The old man had great wisdom, had compassion, kindness also. He said, one's physical appearance does not matter as long as he proves himself beneficial and of service to others. My dear Pod, remember this, okay? So, very philosophical, So he said, you should not so be worried about physical appearance, right? It's not so important. You could still be useful. That's why you find that many of the things that people just throw away, actually they could still be put into use. That's why you have the poorer people going to collect these, and then they put them to good use. Of course, some will be sent for recycling, right? But others would serve the poor people, maybe as flower pots or just containers to take water or whatever right? So, and when you reflect on this, you think it's true. All the people who are disabled, some, for example, they, have only one leg, and then some, what we call OKU orang kurang upaya. Even blind people, deaf people, or lame people, right? These people actually, can function in very amazing ways. Remember the story about Nick Dujovic, or something, American. He had no hands and no legs, But yet, he turned out to be such a fantastic guy, a motivator, because he could still speak. Of course, he sometimes would need help because, no legs and no hands. So to go to a place, then somebody would fetch him there, or later on, maybe he could improvise certain type of gadgets or vehicles, but then he got to move it, right? So probably he might have to use the mouth or what to set the motor moving or whatever But anyway, the important thing is he even could learn swimming, right? He could learn so many things, and he could even earn a living and became very famous. So you see, one's physical appearance is not the most important thing, right? They begin to accept those things. And someone with all the organs intact, that means normal with all the eyes and everything. But then lazing around and not doing really good things to help other people, right? So you can see that even deaf people also could help people and serve people. So then this pot was very happy to hear what the old man said. Say, you are absolutely right, sir. I was wrong, the pot said. the broken pot lah, said feeling happy. I always thought staying with the rich man would increase my value, right? But the truth is that it doesn't matter where we are. It's important how much we can benefit others. So there's a very, very good statement that has good dharma. So he realized that he was very happy that he could benefit others, he could serve others. This brings the point of dana, right? A person who could help other people, could bring benefits to other people, irrespective of his appearance, or maybe his, what they call it, handicap, right? You have found, I mean, I've seen also polio people are, or they call it chacat, but now they use OKU lah. But they could still serve people so well, no, better than so many so-called normal people. That was what brought the happiness and the joy to this broken pot. You see? So you could see this very touching sort of slide. Now let us go on to slide number 12 now. So from here we could see that the pot, the third pot, now you can also call it the broken pot lah. It was the third pot, remember? Learn an important life lesson. He began to feel very peaceful and happy. He found meaning in life, and he started to live happily in contentment. So he was now very happy in this poor old man's home, because he was able to serve as a water container, and the old man also treated him quite well, right? Of course, they could talk, right? So he was very, very happy. And from here you see, happiness does not mean that you have to be living in a billionaire's house or with very important people around you. No. Right? You can see from this story a beautiful lesson. They could be very happy in a simple surrounding with nice people around, and then doing very wonderful work of service to help. So that gave peacefulness, contentment, happiness. So the old man, probably his job would be to collect things. Just as nowadays, some people survive by going to collect all these things and to sell them in the marketplace at a cheap rate, or to sell nowadays. They sell to the recycling centers, right? Even like cardboards lah, paper lah, plastic containers lah, metal containers lah. But they would not want nowadays. They don't want to accept glass. Very surprising. Beautiful glass bottles. Normally they don't collect for recycling, but there are many other things they could collect for recycling. So some people earn their living like this, poor fella. So this old man probably also went around looking for things. So one day, how many days passed? The old man brought home 2 more pots, And it so happened that these 2 pots that were brought home by the old man, right, were the friends of the third broken pot. Remember? At the start of the story, we told you about these 3 friends were living together. Pot number 1, pot number 2. So actually, it was pot number 1 and pot number 2 that were brought back to this home by this old man also. In other words, the old man altogether brought back the 3 pots who were once very good friends staying together lah. Probably now they still have good friendship lah. You can see lah. Wow, the broken pot, the third pot lah, was most happy to see his 2 old friends, right? So very happy. And you can see the second picture placed in the old man's home. Placed there, side by side. The center one, as you can see, is the third broken pot. And then you have pot number 1 and pot number 3. Well, very, very simple pots, isn't it? In contentment, they live happily at the previous place. So this third pot was quite surprised. My dear friends, how come both of you are here? You were staying in the pot maker's home, isn't it? He was very, very surprised. So let us see the reason. And the reason given also could teach us very important life lessons. as you would realize, right? So I hope you follow the flow of the story. Very, very good moral lessons can be learned. So now you can see the third pot, right, who was grumpy, complaining, remember? Now a change pot already. Just as people have changed for the better. Once they encounter the Dharma, very helpful, very kind, use very good speech, and very happy and joyful. That's what is shown now in the picture, smiling, isn't it? Interesting, isn't it? So always remember to be good, contented, and all this. We will discuss this in the last slide. Now, remember the story, even Angulimala, the murderer who killed so many people, the robber, killed 900 over people. In the end, became an Arahant, became a monk. So don't always think, I'm bad, I've committed sins. Actually, we don't use the word sins, but maybe in the past you have done some unwholesome actions. You can change. Nobody is remaining like this. Your destiny is in your hands. Even though you have made mistakes, you can still change in it. So this actually tells us a very good moral lesson. Now, let us go on to slide number 13 now. Let us see now, think and how did this thing happen? That pot number 1 and pot number 2 were brought back by the old man to his home also. So there are now 3 of them together. And it was the first pot that explained. Now, first pot, by nature, it was more communicative. The second one did not speak very much. It was a nice pot, right? So the first pot explained to the broken pot. That means the third pot. We, because of age, got scratches on us. Our owner discarded us at the roadside. And this kind old man brought us here, his home. So you can see another very important life lesson. Because they were old pots, some years already, so what will happen? In time to come, right? You will not be very, you will not have the smooth surface. There might be cracks happening already. In this case here, got scratches starting already. Then from scratches, you will go on to maybe very bad cracks, right? But now just scratches only. And these can go on for a few years, we don't know, you see, right? So the owner seeing this with the scratches already, been one already, he could make new pots, you see. Right? Probably his daughter also complained, right? Hey, this one, the pot now got scratches already, right? Chala, they call it in Malay. So he threw it away at the roadside. And then this old man, I told you, he would go around, looking for things. And then he saw this again. He saw these 2 pots, not broken pots now, but scratched with chala already. So he brought them home. So there was a reason, you see. So when you reflect, you see it's very true. When a person ages, he cannot remain the same as when he was a handsome or beautiful person during the time when he was 20 or 21. His skin might get wrinkled already, not so smooth. And then you have, the teeth also fallen off, white hair now, right? And then the face or wrinkles already, isn't it? So this is natural. When we become old, this is what is going to happen. And that is the fact of impermanence. So when you reflect on this, we could accept this. So whatever that is around us, whether inanimate objects or the things, all conditioned things on earth, and all people, all living things also impermanent, they will change, isn't it? You look at the flowers also. First very fresh, very nice, good smell. Just a few days already they wither until, so horrible sight. Maybe brown color, and then smelly already, you have to throw away, isn't it? Fruits, same thing. You leave the fruits for a long, long time, you see it rotten, and then the worms come already. All things are like that. Even your cars or your computers or your smartphone, they don't last forever. After some time, you find wow, problem set in already. This part spoil, that part spoil. That's the nature of things. So if you could see this fact, then you won't be so upset. You accept it and do the best you can. And similarly, anybody who gets born, he will age. Then he will have sickness also. And eventually he will die. So that was what happened to the three pots, isn't it? So, wow, right? Very interesting lesson we can reflect on. So meanwhile, the old man got two plants, right? And you know what? He used the two pots, the pot number 1 and number 2 that had scratches at the side, but still not leaking yet. All right. So he got two plants and put them in both the pots. In other words, to use as a decorative flower pot. Right. And then you put in the two plants and he would water. And he used the third pot to to contain the water, because the third pot could still fill until more than half. So now you could use the one pot of water onto the other two pots so that the plants would have enough water. So you find all three pots now would serve the old man. And they were very, very happy now, right? Pot number 1 and pot number 2, wow, so happy that now we are the flower pots, and we could serve the old man as flower pots. And the third one, the broken pot, was very, very happy because he could be used to contain water for drinking, and now also could also use to transfer water to his friends. Isn't it wonderful? So you can see from here, there are so many beautiful lessons we can think of. Now let us go on to slide number. But before that, let me put on the video. And now we are going to the next one. So the first spot told his friend. It was just, very relaxed life now, isn't it? Right? You could rest and chit-chat also. You don't have to work all the time, isn't it? Especially the flowering pots, right? So it serves as flowering pots, and then to maybe remind the old man also, hey, water is needed now, things like that. That's all, right? So the first pot told his friend, that's the third pot, the broken pot, friend, you wanted to go with the rich man, remember? To be happy. But finally, it is the poor old man who made you realize you are still beneficial when the rest of the people thought you are useless. The rest of the people probably could mean his previous home, maybe the pot maker's wife or the daughter thought, yeah, useless already lah. Or maybe some friends who saw them also say, yeah, these pots got cracks already, got a chala already lah. So no use already lah. Right? Got scratches already. So you say, the rest of the people thought you were useless. You're useless. But this poor old man made you realize you are still good. You can still serve and you can still benefit other people. And this is also true for the two of us. The other people didn't want us because we had scratches. They say, you're not beautiful already lah. Not nice already lah. So look down upon us lah. Chuck us away at the roadside. Now we all three understand that physical appearance is not what matters. That's not what matters most. But what we can do for others, whoever they are, that is very important. In other words, it boils down to this question of a character, right? The good values we have, our Dana spirit, wanting to help other people, rather than just the physical appearance. You have some beautiful women or ladies or handsome men who have terrible characters, always wanting things only they will never have at all. And such people can never be happy, really, truly. Wanting more and more, very proud of their physical appearance. So this first pot, quite a philosopher. He said this is what makes us happy, right? That we are contented, that we can serve people, right? And even though our appearance are not perfect or not beautiful, you could say, but we can still very happy. From then onwards, the three friends live happily with the old man, rendering whatever services they could. They were still useful, right? And they now realize important life lessons so they could live in peace, contentment, happiness. And it's a fairy tale, and the three pots lived happily ever after. Actually, there's no such thing as forever one. The time will come also, they would have to die. Die in the sense that the parts will fall apart, right? Already cannot resolve that time, they have to be discarded. Human beings also like that. The time will come when you have to pass away. And then you will be reborn. So it is a very interesting thing. It reminds me of one story called The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Hunchback was very, very ugly looking, physical appearance, right? He was living in the church. I visited that church. This was a story, but there was this church of Northern in France, the church of the Cathedral of Notre Dame, very beautiful church. And the story went, you could see the movie also, that a beautiful lady visited the church to, actually was using the church to pray. They have. Then she noticed the hunchback. The physical appearance was not good, right? Hunchback and ugly looking. So the lady was not taken to her. But this OKU can say, because also some problem walking, was very, very kind and very, very gentle speech, all the good qualities, even would bring drinks for the lady and so on. So in time to come, this beautiful lady found, wow, such a very nice person. She fell in love, with the hunchback. And the story said that in the end, she married the hunchback. So actually, it's a very good story to tell us that more important is our character and what we do for other people, right? To help other people, to serve other people. So now we have to go on to the last slide. That is the most important. The moral lessons to learn. Pengajaran moral untuk dipelajari. That is and it is in a way connected. Actually, there are many lessons of Dharma we can actually reflect on, which I did as I went along with you already. Some Dharma points to reflect upon. But now we sum up with three things which are important life lessons, moral lessons, Dharma teachings, and so on, right? Why? Because these are the things that we learn that will help us to be more peaceful, to be more happy, right? To really lead a more meaningful life, right? And to be able to face with the problems of life. You can't help it. There will be problems, conflicts, and trouble when you live in the world. As long as you live in the world, in samsara, we call it, unless you become an arahant or the Buddha and then you go into nibbana, that is a special category. And that is actually the goal of all Buddhists. So now let us look at the first lesson. One who is not contented with what he has or where he is will not be happy or peaceful. And that is very, very true. The Buddha said that contentment is, you can say, is the greatest happiness, right? Or, good things, the greatest wealth. You can actually put in various terms, contentment. If you are not contented, always complaining, say, yeah, why am I like that? Why is it that my friends have all this, I don't have? Always complaining with the bosses. Always complain, always criticize, always condemn, and always curse. That is terrible. Whereas a person, he has all the basic things already, just like the two pots, right? They were contented, they were quite happy, right? So I know I have friends. I remember there was this friend, never contented, say Telok Intan lousy lah. He was a teacher posted to one of the schools in Telok Intan. So he would come to watch us play ping pong and he would always complain, lousy place and so on. He wanted to go to a big city. But actually, wherever you are, you will have problems if your attitude and your views are all wrong. You could be in London or New York, or something wrong with your attitude and wrong views, and you can still be very, very unhappy. You find that people who maybe you live in big cities also very stressed, isn't it? So that's just very important that you are not contented with where you are. You want to be in another place. You want another thing. You're not happy with the small car you have. You want to have a Mercedes. You're not happy with a simple smartphone. There's many of your parents could afford like that. You want to compare with other people. You want an iPhone. I don't know iPhone number what, number 11 or 12. So all these will make your mind always agitated and very, very unhappy, isn't it? So when you learn Dhamma, a lot of things are very, very beneficial for you to be more peaceful, happy, and meaningful life. A meaningful life. You find that if you are not content, I mean, you feel that, oh, I will be happy if I get a lot of money, I get a lot of fame, I got power, then I'll be happy. I'll be contented. Not like that. If that's the case, you look at the situation as I've mentioned many times today, the great pop singers, use the word great, the famous pop singers or the actors or actresses who have all the fantastic wealth, isn't it? Not only wealth, like for example, some of the singers, wow, millions and millions, if they were to perform a concert, people will pay thousands to watch the person sing. I'm not saying it's wrong one, but it's the lampao. They will even borrow money to buy the tickets, Oh, millions of people, I read the papers are queuing up, right? Online booking in order to watch her perform. But in terms of giving, serving other people, it's all money, money, fame, status, and so on. And you think this will give you all the happiness? If that's the case, why did famous people like Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Leslie Cheung, Whitney Houston, so many, and the various K-pop singers also, they have all the wealth and all the things, and yet not happy and peaceful, isn't it? On sleeping tablets, alcohol, drugs, and so on. Finally, actually, they committed suicide, overdose, or things like that. So remember this. If you have already the basic things, you're quite lucky in the sense that you have a house to stay, you have a good family, you have food which is can sustain you, and then you have even education, you have clothing, and then you have also some things to enjoy yourself with. And what more do you want? Isn't it? No end. So it's time that we think about other people. That's why so many people get depression, because they are concentrating on the self, the ego. They don't reach out to other people. Right? So that is this very important lesson that we have to learn. One of the main reasons for having stress, depression, all this relates to, of course, the mind, the way you see things, the way you think, right? Your view. And then the I, me, mine, everything is for me. This is my thing. I want this. This is mine. So it's always focus on that. So when things don't go according to your way, you feel frustrated. Whereas the person that, for example, happiest people will be like maybe Mother Teresa or Dalai Lama or some of the great monks, like Ajahn Chah and all this one. Simple people. They have their basic needs. They didn't have all the wealth of some people. You mean they are the most unhappy people? No, on the contrary, they are among the most happy people. Have been following their lives of these these are really great people that could see the truth of life. Now let us go on to the second one. Having more material possessions, fame, or status cannot guarantee one, happiness and peace. Actually, cannot guarantee a person. I should have put a person. Having more material possessions. You know what are material possessions? All the physical things. House, car, motorbike, TV, computer, land. All those material things, I find people spend so much of their life chasing for these things. You have a car already. Oh, you see, I need a bigger car. I want a Ferrari or a Jaguar or things like that. Thinking that this will be, after that, again, other things. Oh, now you have this very expensive phone that can be used for 5G or 6G or whatever it is. All these things, I must have that. But then you see, all these are costly things. So they slog and work so hard. And then also some children, from Chai Si, they say, always pestering the parents for more and more material things. It's not easy, to get the money to buy this. I posted one very, very good live lesson story about a boy always complaining he wants no shoes. The title was No Shoes. He wanted, wow, he already got a good, a few pairs already. He got Adidas, and then maybe he got already this, what do we call it, Reebok. But still he complained. He say, mommy, I want the other brands are very expensive one, right? I want Nike lah, and all sorts of lah, never satisfied. Always complaining and complaining. How can I eat this food? I want the good food of McDonald's or Kentucky. Always complaining. Even though got the things already. Not contented and related to the first one. Until one day he saw a boy with no legs and very happy, and that means okay you lah, right? And singing. He could even be helping other people. No. So then he learned a lesson. That was a very beautiful story. So remember, right? It's not the material possessions that are the most important, because they cannot guarantee you the happiness and peace. In order to have the happiness and peace, you actually must learn life lessons. The best, for example, the Buddhists, the goal is to learn the true Dharma, right? The teachings of the Buddha, and then to understand them, and then to think about them, to reason out, reflect on them, and then to put them into practice to realize for yourself that in this story, you find the pots, they felt very happy because they could serve other people, isn't it? As either a water container or a flowering pot, a pot for flowers, flower pot. So that is a very, very important point for you. Don't make that mistake of just chasing. It's not that you cannot earn money to buy a car or a phone. All this not that. It's just that they cannot know the limits. Cannot be contented. It goes on and on. Millionaire also not enough. Must become billionaire. Then after that must make your children also billionaires. All sorts of things. And this in the process, why they do crooked things sometimes. They do immoral things, unwholesome things, and some even criminal things like corruption. So there's a price to pay, right? Even if you enjoy life, everything, but then what about when you have rebirths? You see, there's some people ask me, how come this fella so terrible, cheated and all these things, live until quite a good age, and then enjoying all the things are still okay, what? I say, yeah, because he got a good karma from the past. But now he's using all these things and doing all the bad things. How can you know what he's going to be reborn into? You don't know yet, isn't it? So this is the thing. Now let us look at the third one. Good friends, harmonious relationship, and values like love, virtue, and wisdom are needed for happiness. But you might have asked the question. Then what are the things that would give us true happiness and true peace? Examples, good friendship, or what we call the Kalyana Mita, a good spiritual friend that really can help you, right? As you go along the path to get enlightenment. This is what we call the spiritual friend. And that is a very important thing. Good friendship. In the end, I think the three points realize the good friendship is so important, so they live happily ever after. Harmonious relationship, be able to get along with other people. A lot of problems are because of problems of relationship, a lot of dukkha suffering, quarrels in the family in the working place and then with the people you work with all sorts of things, they don't know how to have good, harmonious, peaceful relationship. That is because they have not learned these life lessons. The school teach you how to get all the A's, but they don't teach you life lessons. Of course, you have Pendidikan Moral, but that one is to get another A. It doesn't really happen in the heart and mind, I've seen that. It's not really successful. It's not inculcated. So harmonious relationship. And then metta. Love actually here would mean metta. I've already done quite a number of posts. One of it was the 11 benefits of metta, right? The benefits. So I'm not going to. It's very, very important, and that will give you all the benefits, and including peace, joy. This life, in future lives also. And virtue, they will lead a very good moral life. Not selfish, and don't commit unwholesome actions using your speech or your body or thinking all very cruel thoughts, greedy thoughts, angry thoughts. This will not give you the peace. So remember morality. And then when you follow this and you learn the Dhamma, understand the teachings, then slowly your wisdom will grow. That is the most important thing actually. Once you have the wisdom to know what the meaning of life is all about and how we have to live in the right ways, righteous living, right? And Dhamma-based, then you have the wisdom. Once you have wisdom, somehow or other, you have the other good qualities following because you have right view, right? You are wise to know the true nature of things, what to do and what not to do. So then this will be the ingredients for true success, not just momentary pleasure. Watch this fantastic pop singer and I feel very, very happy. But then chasing for the next one that will never end one, right? So I hope that you have learned very important life lessons and Dharma from this very simple story of the three pots. Of course, it is a story, but the important thing is the lessons behind. I've done many fables, Jataka stories, Dhammapada stories, which are stories. It's just as you have heard Cinderella, Snow White, or Bawang Putih, Bawang Merah, all these are stories, but the lessons are so good and you have to practice them. All right, so now we have come to the end, more than 1 hour. So before we say sadhu 3 times, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma classes, and the parents and grandparents who are following this presentation, and all teachers of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma classes, youth members, in fact, all who have been watching this presentation. I say thank you and sadhu to all of you for taking time and putting in the effort to follow this long presentation. And you find this useful, right, beneficial, it is very good, meritorious, you can share with other people. It's so easy now, right? Next time when it's posted there, you can just give them the link, right? And then you are doing a meritorious action. Because now you're not thinking of yourself, you're thinking of benefiting other people. And that is contributing to happiness and peace. So now let us put our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School, Dhamma classes, and all who have been watching this presentation, I would like to say thank you once more. And sadhu to all of you for taking time to patiently watch this, all right, with good concentration and mindfulness. May all of you be well, happy, peaceful, and may you always continue to learn and practice the sublime Dhamma. Take care.